Xavier, you're the Mexican was done from Gutafara, representing for the East to the Ground radio station. Blessed love. All the people saying, "Now touch that down, listen till it end."
Yo, T Mula.
Yo, Mr. Plot Marco, what's up, my brother? How you
I'm good,
doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
Yeah,
Just give
man.
me
Wagwan.
nothing. Just hold on for 30 seconds and then we'll cross over to you. Just stay there.
100%, man.
Cool.
New voices amplified.
Yo, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining Earground Radio. And tonight we have a special guest. His name is T Mula or Tafuma Mula. We're going to be talking about his music, but also the showbiz and the music industry that he's part of. He's, I would call him a media, an entertainment mogul, one of the guys that are behind the scenes of the growing and like sort of very successful music industry in South Africa. And he has started to make his inroads also into the Zimbabwean scene, not only with his music, but also production side. And he has a very interesting business model. And tonight we're going to be hearing more from him on what he has done, what he's up to, and what he's achieved, and a bit of more. So, Tivula, welcome to Earground, and thank you so much for taking your time to join Earground.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And what's up to everybody tuned in? Yeah, what's up?
Cool. So maybe just to start off, could you tell our listeners and our viewers who is T Mula?
T Mula is an artist and an entrepreneur. And that's why, there's two brands. There's the T Mula brand and then there's the Mula VIP Rentals brand. I'm a Zimbabwean, fully Zimbabwean, based in South Africa. Pushing the hustle, basically. You know what I mean? That's me.
Ah, great. And how long have you been in music? How long have you been in showbiz, rather?
At least 15 years. Since I started putting pen to paper and stuff like that. So I've been in the game. I've been in the game.
Great. And now, almost most of the major music videos that we see on a daily basis that are coming up tops, at most we see your hand in there. Maybe you could just tell our viewers what it is that you do, what is Mula VIP Rentals, and yeah.
Okay. It's me starting this company was by luck. Like I'm sure, everyone relies on God's grace to do things. But yeah, our company is 5 years old now. We have been behind, we're producers. That's what we really are. We're producers and we're a production house as well. So in the function as producers is one to take away the headache from directors and other producers. Maybe they need to share the work and it's a lot of things that they need to put together. So that's what we do. We basically we put in the stuff that people shoot. So our main focus is luxury vehicles and houses. But we do everything in production. We can do set design and stuff like that. And that's what the company does. So fortunately, we've found ourselves in a position where we do it for a lot of people. And there is no real company in Johannesburg in South Africa, that does what we do. It's a little bit of a niche, that we stumbled upon, by luck. But every production house needs it. They need something to shoot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've
So,
basically used our network to find some very rare things to shoot. And I recently found someone who does what we do in Hollywood as well. He's called the Hollywood Wishmaker. So we are like the Joburg Wishmakers. We make the wishes come true.
awesome. So you're the go-to people for anything that music directors or video directors or artists per se need to create that content, their content.
Yes, to be able to express their stories.
Cool. And maybe could you highlight some of the names of people that you've worked with, from SA to Zim, and possibly if there are any other regional or any other international artists that you've worked with, some of the artists that you've been involved with?
Yo, bro, you know, we find ourselves in a position where there is no artist we haven't worked with. As soon as they come into the ranks, they're going to become our client. We started working with people like P Squared and Davido, like on
Wow.
Testimony, you know what I mean? Like, it's like 5 years ago. Everyone, there's no artist we haven't worked with, aka Casper, Nasty C, there's everyone. Victoria Kimani in the East, we've got Vanessa D, we've got Jukes, we've got everyone, all the top artists, Mwana FA, all the East Africans, all the West Africans, all the South Africans.
Yeah.
We worked with Beanie Man as well.
Oh, wow.
Internationally, we did the Beanie Man and Winky D video. We did Beanie Man, Buffalo Soldier, Deleuze. We did another one there. We've worked with Feki Official. Feki's very big in London. I'm sure the London scene would know him. Yeah, we've been pushing, bro. We've been pushing. Rick Ross and Questa. There's a lot. There's a lot. Major League, Do Better. Ama Blessa, DJ Maporisa. Casper Neovest, Puma Kim, which is like 4 years ago.
Yeah, Poma Kim, I remember.
We've done more than 400 music videos in 5 years.
Wow.
Like
Wow, that's
we've
huge.
everything, bro.
Wow.
So we're
And
doing that.
in Zim, you've mentioned Winky D and Buffalo Soldier. Are there more other
Winky D,
artists that?
Buffalo Soldier, Ja Praiser and Diamond. Ja Praiser and Pato Ranking. Yeah, Winky D and Buff. We also helped out in that one.
Wow.
Who else from Zim? King 98. He's coming through. He's coming through. There's King 98 and Nasty C.
Yeah.
That's coming
video.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's her name? This girl. How could I forget it? So embarrassing. She.
No, I know you've worked with so many, so it's quite
There's
possible that
lots.
you can get some.
Blacks is a good friend. TK is a good friend. These are directors.
Yeah.
Everyone, man. You know,
Wow.
so we've been working and we still are working. You know, we just by God's grace that we have work. You know what I mean?
Wow. And being part and parcel of a lot of productions that have seen successful videos or productions coming out, what would you attribute the success of such productions? Like the conversation from the Zimbabwean side has always been, what do we need to do to really like break into the international market? What do artists need to invest in? And is it the music? Is it the videos? Is it the set? Like, what would you say has been the biggest take on from the work that you've seen, that you'd say if Zimbabwean artists in Zimbabwe are to learn this, possibly this could actually help take us some?
The game is real, hey? Like music has, as far as I've seen it evolve in South Africa, it's a business, eh? And anyone who is trying to get themselves involved in music needs to approach it like that to take it anywhere. Any business needs money as an input for there to be an output. And that is the thing with music, you know what I mean? Like, if you're an artist and you're trying to be hot, how are you going to compete with Davido, who's dropping 10 music videos of his own in a year, and he's featured on another 15? He's got 25 videos that are rotating around, you know what I mean? How are you going to compete with that if you've got one product for the year, or if you've got no products, you know what I mean, on TV? So you need material. Content is like the new oil, as far as we've been, learning. and content needs resources to be able to put it together. I've noticed something, in the last 3 years, s- 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Yes.
the Nigerian music videos were better than South African music videos. And in the last 3 years, I've noticed that corporate South Africa has been sponsoring a lot of the music videos that the South African artists drop, and that's because they have found a value between corporate and and themselves and the business community, and that's the only way that funding can come. You know
And
what I
in the
mean?
last 3 years,
Yes. So, but what do you say? Because like there was a conversation, I think just yesterday, on how the Zimbabwean corporate sector does not really put any value or any investment towards the arts. And in South Africa, you're actually saying that the companies have seen value and they've started to sponsor and be part and parcel of some of the videos that are being produced there. Where, what do you think that the artists, the corporates are not having faith in the artists in Zimbabwe, or just that the art is not interesting enough for companies to put money? What's your response to that?
I think my perspective is that the business community hasn't yet found the the value in endorsing a wide array of musicians. There are some from Zim that are endorsed, um, and that's because those business communities find value in those endorsements. But I think the industry needs a lot. The industry needs some. It needs some juice. It needs some sheets. You know what I mean? If Zimbabwe music is going to be listened to internationally,
Yeah.
it's gotta look good. The artists have got to look good. They got to look like they're living good. You know what I mean? They've got to shoot nice videos or expressive videos that are going to make somebody in Tanzania want to listen to this Shona because the visuals are appealing, or whatever, the storylines are interesting. You know what I mean? And that's another big market for Zimbabweans, because Tirva Shoma, we're like, what? Our millions are not that
15.
many. You know what I mean? Whereas East Africa combined, they're about 300 million apparently. They are more than the Nigerians. Ukabata needs Tanzania, Kenya, whatever. And those people, they love Shona. Shona Vanoinzwa. Swahili and Shona, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah, almost
encourage
close.
Zimbabwean musicians to look to the East as well for market, you know what I mean? South Africans are doing it, Nigerians are doing it, so yeah. But yeah, we
And
need to shoot better. We need better material, better content. But because I also watch, it's my
yeah,
job
yeah.
to know what's new, what's out, and everything. And I've been seeing some really nice videos this year from Zimbabwe.
Which videos would you say this year that dropped this year from Zimbabwe that really struck you?
I like that Kure video by Tigonzi. Um, you know, not a crazy budget, but the way it was put together is very nice. And even some of the ones that we've been involved in, like what's his name?
Winky
I'm
D?
really trying to think of this girl, Tamasha. Is that correct?
Tammy Moyo.
Tammy
Yes.
Moyo. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
that wasn't also. It was just. It was like well done. That was
The Take It video.
the Take It video. Yeah, yeah. We worked on that with Andy Carter. Yeah. What other video can I say I saw that was dope? I'm just forgetting the names, but I've seen some
Okay.
nice videos coming, and that's encouraging. You know what I mean? Like,
So
Zim,
you
stand
think
up.
the standard is actually going up?
I think it is going up. I think it is going up. It's just moving at a slow pace, but it is going out. But the only thing that can increase the pace is funds to produce content. You know what I mean?
And what can we learn from South Africa or from South African artists? Do you think, for example, with the hip hop scene, I think our hip hop scene started slightly earlier than the South African scene in terms of really pushing, and with the likes of Mischief, the likes of Mau Mau, and doing stuff in South Africa, and they really impacted on the scene. But now, like behind, like way behind as compared to South Africa. What can you learn from South Africa?
Yeah, we can learn a lot. The youth who listen to hip hop here are like invested in the culture. They they listen to they get a lot from the West. So I would say Zimbabweans as well. Besides what we can learn from the South, hip hop we can take a lot from from America as well, because the kids here they listen to how the instruments are made by Kanye West, and they research, they find out what drum kits they use, what stuff they use and stuff like that, and then they add a bit of their own flavor to make it global. I also think that in South Africa, South Africa itself is big opportunities for Zimbabweans. We are a couple of million in Zimbabwe, and if you look at that, that is literally almost a tenth, tribe in this country. So I think, we should, as Zimbabweans, we should also look to South Africa as markets. These are numbers games, you know what I mean? So if we can, South Africa's got 55 million people. You know what I mean? The East has got 300 million people. Africa, the West has got whatever it has. So as we make our music as Zimbabweans, let's keep it original, but just keep in mind what the average standard international quality production says. You know what I mean? So that we can penetrate these markets. And a lot of it is good mixing, good mastering. That is very important for audio, you know what I mean? Audio must sound clean. It mustn't be painful to the ear. And
True.
and once that is done, then video as well. You shoot the video and then you drop it properly, and you can stand a chance of, changing your life. You know what I mean? I can see it happening to a lot of people, and I think that, it's very possible for a lot of artists.
And you mentioned dropping the video. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of good videos that failed to really get to where they were supposed to be. For example, the video that you just mentioned, Kure, by Ashan and T Gonz. I was trying to find out why the video has not shown on Trace or MTV Best, as yet. And apparently what I found out is that the guy who shot the video only saved the video in MP4 format and did not save
It didn't have a WAV
the
file.
files. No WAV file. He did not save
An MOV, I mean.
No.
You didn't have an MOV.
So the video is
let me tell you what.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you what. Me, I'm in the market. I'm in Joburg. This is where it happens. I'm giving you this free information as a journalist,
thanks a lot.
and for the benefit of whoever it might help. Videos you submit, and good music will always make its way. But there are ways of making sure that things happen. You know what I'm saying? And that is the nature of the game. You know what I mean? If you know a compiler and you take that compiler to lunch, for sure your video is going to be on TV. You know what I mean? The next day. Or it's about relationships. That's the word that I'm trying to use. It's about relationships. Having relationships with the correct people gets your things moved faster, even if it is an MP4. You know what I mean? We know how we get with relationships. We can get that thing on TV tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And that is just the name of the game. You know what I mean? I think everyone needs to just find where they add value. There's journalists, there's camera guys, there's DOPs, there's the musicians, there's the managers, there's bodyguards, there's different elements to the whole industry. And when everyone applies themselves continually, you find yourself in a position where you do barter trades. You don't even need to You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's a bit difficult when you're as far as Harare and the submissions are in Johannesburg, you know. But I think it requires linking up with the Joburg people so that we make it happen. You know what I mean? But that's a good video. It should be on TV.
Yeah. So you're saying that there has to be some relationship building between Johannesburg and Harare, and maybe Johannesburg and Zimbabwe, to create linkages for artists to actually penetrate some of these markets. But we see a lot of artists are coming to perform in South Africa. Are they not linking up with the system? Do they end up just in clubs and bars where they come and perform there? Because almost every week there's like 5, 6, 7, 8 artists from Zimbabwe that are coming to perform in South Africa. Where is the
Yeah.
disconnect?
Do you know what? They do come. They do perform. I can't speak on behalf of people who I don't spend time with and know. But there's places in Joburg where there are Zimbabweans. I know Azia, those places. Those are the ones that these artists need to be at. Some of the places they're going to are the wrong ones. You know what I mean, for what they're trying to achieve. So Joburg is big. You know what I mean. They just need to find themselves in the right hands, in the right crowds. You know what I mean. Like if you want to be mixing with South African artists and doing collaborations with them, you've got to be at the parties where they are. You've got to be in the places where they are. If you come to Joburg and you are not where they are, then you're not in the right place. You know what I mean?
And do you find Zimbabwean artists that are coming to SA looking for you? Because if I was an artist, tell you what, every time I was coming to Jersey, I would look out for you. Not necessarily to shoot a video, but just to get a bit of the knowledge to connect. And because you are there, you're in the thick of things where things are happening. And
I do have a couple, and I do have very good relationships with a lot of my Zimbabwean brothers. Trust me, anyone who will tell you about me knows that I'm one of Zimbabwe's biggest ambassadors in my own little capacity. You know what I mean? So I try my best to do anything with people from home, musically and etc. etc. So yeah, I do, have, artists that we link up with, that we do shows. I go to their shows when they perform and all of that. But I'll be honest with you. The bottom line is, most of the Zimbabwean artists, a lot of them, they don't have the funding to do the kind of production that, is the standard on offer. A lot of those, Zimbabweans, because my music videos, to do something proper that you can hand to Trace or
yeah,
MTV or whatever without even stressing, is going to cost you 50,000 rands. You know what I mean? Which is what, about $4,000. To do something
$4,000.
proper that you can just hand without having issues about anything, it's a good product. And that kind of money is not available to everyone, you know. So even in my job, I do have some Zimbabwean artists that are within our market, but there are fewer than I would like, and it's unfortunate that some of the ones that I would love to put hands on, they don't even try because the budgets are not there. When we build some relationships, we even do things for free and try and help where we can, but we can't help the whole industry. We ourselves do not have that capacity. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it will get to a point where the capacity will be there. I'd love to shoot like 200 music videos for Zimbabwean songs that we would handpick and listen with a panel of a listening session, and I'd love to PR that through our links to the whole of Trace and MTV and BET, and see what that can do for some other Zimbabwean artists. They might find bread, more bread in another part of the world. You know what I mean? Just from good content that touches the right people. But like I said, it all boils down to resources.
And if you were to pick like maybe 3 artists and say, look, we're gonna make videos for these three artists, and you are positive that their music is going to make an impact not only for Zimbabwean market but also for the regional market, which artist would you pick?
Yeah, that's a very tough question, eh?
Mm.
Three only, bro.
Maybe five. Yeah.
Okay, one person I really want to shoot a video for is Dadza D. I want to do, yeah, I would love to, and he's my friend. I'd love to do something crazy for Dadza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can overload. I'd love to also do, I'm a fan. These are people, I'm a fan of Enza Aishal. Yeah, man. He's making waves, he's doing his thing. It'll be nice to do some production for him. Um, I am a fan of, who else? Someone I'd like to do a video for. I'd like to do a video for Pauline as well. Pauline from Africa. I'd love to do a
Pauline
video
from
for her.
Africa. Ah, awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would also love to do a video for. I've worked with Shashul. I've worked with
Shasha.
Tammy, but those are also two names I had to mention. I respect as well the craft. I love the dancehall boys. I love Bazooka. Natty O. I respect Natty O. I think Natty O is already making international waves, but we have worked on something before in the past, but it'd be nice to work on more. Yeah, those are just some names off the top of
Ah,
my
cool,
head,
cool.
but yeah, I think the industry, yeah, if the audio, because I listen to the audio, and the
Yeah.
audio, some of it is very, very touching, but right now the industry is at a stage where competition is on video, man. Like audio must be good. Like it's no longer a question that the audio must be good. The video must
Yeah.
be even better.
So, do you think that now videos lead, or like you're saying, it's audio? Where would you place, like videos, like in the dynamics of music today?
That videos are the one, eh? Audio, yakatosara. It's videos. But then when I say audio, yakasara, I don't mean it's not important, because the process of dropping a song, it's there's many ways to skin a cat, but how it should be done is you first do what they call radio sampling, then you put your audio track to different radio stations so that they can sample it, and while that is happening, you give it probably a while. A while can be anything. It can be a month, it can be 2 months, it can be whatever, depending on the wave of the song, because each song has a time, when it's got a wave, and then that wave drops. So while you're doing your audio sampling, then at the right time, you TV sample, and then you drop the video. And what happens even in South Africa or on any television station is that the songs with the highest rotation on radio get the highest rotation on television. That is
Also,
a
it
given
works
fact.
together. Wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
so you can't ignore the importance of the audio and the PR work towards the audio, because it's very, very important.
Wow. And the South African market, do they know Zimbabwean music? And what is their perspective about Zimbabwean music? Are there certain artists that are on rotation in South Africa that people that are non-Zimbabweans, vibe to?
I'm sure there are quite a few, but not enough for us to quickly say off the top. I know Japre's music plays, yeah. His PR has been very, very, very strong from the get-go, from Watora Mari. You know what I mean? That was just setting the bar. Um, it does play. I know that it does play, but it's not popular enough for a lot of them to get gigs in South Africa on South African stages. You know what I mean? A lot of the times they come to perform for Zimbabweans, which is also good. I'm not taking away anything from that. But the larger stages with the tens of thousands of people
Yeah.
are South African markets. And we as Zimbabweans need to figure out how to penetrate these markets. And like I'm saying, we are a couple of million in here and we are right across the border. You know what I mean? Like we should literally take this industry hostage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We should. And I see it happening soon. Sorry.
Okay, it's fine. And because I mean, what's interesting is that like South African music easily finds its way to Zimbabwe. Like literally, we know some of the music word for word, including songs that are sung in languages that we don't even understand. And for more than 20, 30 years, we've not been able to not only reverse that, but also to create a bit of an equilibrium, a balance of some sort, where South African music travels to Zimbabwe the same way that Zimbabwean music travels also to South Africa, you know. And I've been wondering, is it an issue of radio? Do you think that Zimbabwean radio stations are doing justice to local music?
I'm sure they try their best given the circumstances at hand. But I think more emphasis or more energy should be put into the markets that you want to be heard in. So I think more energy should be put and more time should be put into submissions in South Africa, because you want the stuff to play in South Africa so that you get gigs in South Africa. You know what I mean? So I'd encourage a lot of the artists to find international representatives in South Africa who can find a way to do all the radio sampling for them and the TV sampling and do the media rounds and stuff like that, so that they get into this market. You know what I mean? I think that's the only way that they're going to get heard this side. In Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean radio stations, they play South African music, and that's why the South African music is known in Zimbabwe. So it's just doing the vice versa and making sure that we, figure out strategy to push Zimbabwean music in South Africa.
Quite interesting there. And, so I have to ask some of these things because I think you have so much valuable information that the Zimbabwean music industry needs to hear, apart
No
from
problem.
us also talking about your own music. But I think you've placed one foot onto the industry in South Africa, and Buffalo Soldier has done so. Yeah, quite a few artists have managed to really do so from the creative side. And I think for us, I personally believe that we need to really hold by your back, by your belt and cross the Limpopo, with you so
Yeah,
that
man.
at least we're able to get in there. Because I must admit, South Africa has more media platforms that have a global reach than Zimbabwe has. Zimbabwe has actually one TV station, 18 radio stations that are playing more South African music. And yeah. So in terms of mechanisms, you've mentioned that the South African industry functions in a form where there are different facets and different people. You've mentioned PRI, you've mentioned sampling, you've mentioned just so many things. And I'm thinking, who pays all these services? Where do people make money to actually pay all the people that you've mentioned? Because in Zimbabwe, the artist either pays just the manager or does it on themselves. There's nothing, there's no system, there's no structure in between.
So what happens is it's different at different levels. When you're now a big artist, you have your own PR team, you have your own manager, you have your whole crew around you. But what happens is that they're individual entities that give those services. So those entities give those services to different individuals, and when they do that, they create an industry for themselves. So you can be a PR person, and then you've got 3 accounts or 4 accounts, and you're doing Nasty C's PR and Casper's PR and somebody else's PR. You know what I mean? And the little bit that you get from Nasty C and Casper and AKA and whatever becomes enough for you to pay to be able to survive and do your own thing. And then you see PR people now going for corporates like the Standard Banks and what. So when you decide you want to be in a field like that, you shouldn't think of it from a narrow perspective and say, I want to be one person's, you know what I mean? Or I want to be stuck to, I want to work for this person. They don't even need, services can be rendered per per song, per transaction, per whatever, it's a little bit difficult when you're now management, because now you have got a specific focus, but I, I don't think artists need to have too many people on their payroll yet, you know so I encourage people who want to be a part of the industry in a certain way to think of it from a broader perspective, you know what I mean, to supply a service to everybody and function, build your own brand. Everyone is building their own brand, so you can be a photographer and be this person's photographer and that person's photographer, and freelance and build your own brand. And then artists get the photography service when they need it, when they're performing, whatever. And then an artist doesn't have to pay a photographer when he doesn't need one.
Yeah, interesting. So I think that answers quite a lot, because at most you'd find somebody who's doing PR that would want to stick onto one artist. And here, I think in terms of Zimbabwe, a lot of the times you'd find if you're doing PR for one specific artist, and then it means automatically you cannot relate with the next artist. You're either a rival, or the artists don't see value in actually paying for your PR work.
Mm-hmm.
How does it function in South Africa? Can you do PR for AKA and do PR for Casper and Invest, or do work for both? Is it
Let me
possible?
tell you who actually did that. Farah Fortune, research that name. She's arguably one of the best PR people in South Africa. But this is what I heard through my own ends. I would need confirmation from Casper or AK. I've never asked them myself. But I heard that Farah was doing AKA's PR for a while. And then a new young kid came up in the scene called Casper. And then she also took him up as a client. And she started pushing Casper. And then she noticed when they were in the same vicinity that these two guys just don't get along. And then what she did was, let me fuel that fire in the media.
Wow.
But by fueling that fire, she has
They
created
made
two
money.
giants. And that's the name
Wow.
of the game.
Yeah, yeah. I must say, I'm really, really blown away, because I think in Zimbabwe, possibly, I'm actually starting to think that maybe we are taking showbiz very lightly and with a lot of emotions. So you'd find if somebody is doing work for one specific artist, or if necessarily speak about one particular artist, and then you're an enemy of the next artist, be it dance or be it hip hop, be it any other like contemporary or traditional music. People mark territories, and it's like, this is my own space. I'm not gonna let the next person be, and we cannot relate because you belong to this particular camp, which is quite interesting, because we always thought the beef between Casper and AK was like real, in the sense of being real, like people would, jump on each other's throat on the street, but ultimately it pushed sales for both artists.
Yeah, look at how they've created two giants. And that's the same story for other places as well. Look at Dibanje and P Squared. That's how they both blew. Wizkid and Davido. So at the end of the day, it's business. You know what I mean? And if certain gimmicks need to be used, that's what people do. You know what I mean? We're all confused right now about Mampincha and Babes Wodumo. We don't even know what the hell is going on. But trust me,
Yeah,
when they
true.
drop that video is trending. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even know, man. Like, it's crazy out there. So
Yeah, true, true.
it's chess. At the end of the day, it's chess, and people should think of it like that.
Yeah, that's a lot. And yeah, before we close, I think back to your music. Where is T Mula music-wise? You've dropped quite a lot of amazing videos. I remember, when you dropped BIG, and the video was dope. It's from 2016, but then you'd find the Zimbabwean market is somehow, I don't know what happens, because a lot of great stuff that I see on YouTube, I'm like, wow, there's actually music like this. It doesn't really get out there. Is it that our systems, I don't know, I'm failing to really understand this, why we sleep on good content.
Bro, that's the one question out of everything you've asked me today that I don't have a real answer to. Yeah, it's me musically. I'm not yet where I want to be, no doubt about that. But everyone who listens to my music is like, whoa, and that's why I went into the game in the back door. You know what I mean? I got in through production. But I would say musically, I've got one more piece to the puzzle. When that piece drops, then the whole game it's a done deal for the whole game. Man. We taking over. We already taking over. But once that piece of the puzzle comes, because I am an artist, and me, I run thing proper. You see what I'm saying? So when that last piece of the puzzle falls together, I think my dreams will be closer to coming true. Tingwan
That's
Mud.
Yeah, yeah. And now you've got a couple of new tracks, some of them dancehall. We know you from hip hop, and now you're doing dancehall. Very interesting versatility. How do you balance these two?
They're both very big parts of me. I'd say almost 50-50, you know what I mean? I grew up listening to dancehall. I'm a Zimbabwean. I went to boarding school. I grew up in Chitungwi's
So you're a
specific
ghetto
parts of
youth.
my life. I went to grade 3 to grade 7, and Chinembiri, second 2 primary.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to
Yeah.
boarding. At that time, my dad had moved to Botswana. That's where he is. So I was boarding, but yeah, I'm a Chi-town rude boy.
Wow. Quite interesting, because I think
So
at most,
taenda
my
when I
class
was
clash.
young. Taenda maklash, taenda kuma backyard, parties and all.
Mavisho.
Zese.
And what can we expect from you this year? What's new?
This year, this year the plan is to just do 2 times everything we did last year. New music videos, new music, new productions, new avenues to the company. Like, we're just doing everything new, 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 new. You know what I mean? So just look out. Everywhere you're gonna look is gonna be T Mula, Mula VIP Rentals, T Mula. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing.
Awesome, awesome. And what is your projection on Zim Dancehall?
Zim dancehall it's a genre that is existent. I don't see it going anywhere. I see it just being refined. I think that's what it needs. It just needs some refining so that um, the content can be heard across across borders. Just a little bit of refining. There's nothing we are complaining about too much, but a little bit of refining, more music videos, more, better, just bettering the content, I would say. You know what I mean? And also, it needs improvement of the livelihoods of the people who are singing it, because youngsters admire successful people. They admire people who look good, dress good, drive good, stay good. You know what I mean? And something. It's deeper than that. Once that can be bettered, and the ghetto youth's lives can be better, then even the quality of the things that they'll express will be better.
Awesome. Yeah, what is your last word to the Zimbabwean music scene, artists that are getting into the game and those that have been in the game before we end?
I would say a big thing that I've seen now about artistry is especially with hip hop. I must
Yeah.
clarify, but your hustle is how nice you sound. You know what I mean? Like, so improve on your hustle. Yes, you get behind the microphone and record a track and do whatever. But when that is not yet paying the bills, and that's the same situation for me, that is not yet really paying the bills. You got to see when you step out of the studio, improve your hustle, because when you improve your hustle, you sound better. You know what I mean? People want, people admire your hustle a little bit more than they admire, what you're actually saying. And that's why some people with poor, what we would call whack songs and whack, but people are bouncing to them because they admire the person's hustle. You know what I mean?
Wow, that was quite enlightening, and I must say that I personally have learned a lot from just this conversation. I know in other economies, like here in Germany or in SA, there or in the States, you could be sending me, a check right now, an invoice, because this is free consultancy, and I think it's very commendable that you've taken time to actually do this and share this knowledge. It might not be 20 people that will get it, but I know 2, 3 will definitely get it and make use of it. And how do artists get in touch with you? How do producers get in touch with Mula?
You can get me on social media on my Instagram. It's Tapfuma, TAPFUMA _MULA, Mula. Or just Google Mula VIP Rentals. You'll link up with our pages. Yeah, man, reach out. We are always there to you know what I mean, to assist. Because that's how we grow, and that's how good karma come around. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
yeah, man.
Well, thanks a lot, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken to just be on this. And we'll definitely stay in touch with you and keep track of your new forthcoming projects. But at the same time, if something comes up in terms of productions that are involved in, just pass them through to Earground, because I think our generation needs a lot of this inspiration. They need a lot of this knowledge and information about the goings on behind what they see, because ultimately they see the final product, they want to copy the final product without
And see.
understanding and appreciating what has been invested and how much effort and work is put in to actually create what it is that they want trying to copy.
Yeah, definitely. That's very interesting. And we didn't talk about TV shows, and that it's the same principles with music as well.
Yeah.
For TV shows, for reality shows, for there's a lot of those coming out of South Africa, and it would be nice to see the same thing happening in Zimbabwe. We're doing some BET dating show soon called Single Parents Looking for Love or something like that. There's just crazy shows. The Bachelor South Africa, and I think Zimbabwe
And I
deserves,
see Zodwa has a new one, and
the
what
reality
else? The
shows,
reality shows and stuff.
Isitembu, what.
Yes.
Yeah, lockdown. We also helped with that. We're also very much involved with those as well. So there's a lot of things that I've also learned behind the scenes of such. And every day I'm just asking myself, why can't we have something like that out of Zim? Why can't we
Do
have something like that out of Zim?
Do you think the moment we have more TV stations, a lot of these things are going to be possible? Because I'm just looking at the current state right now with just one TV station, even with beautiful programming that I've seen that have failed to actually go on air, and some of which that has gone on air. The space seems not enough for local creatives, because we see from some of those productions they've mentioned in South Africa or others, you see like on the credits, there's a Zimbabwean name there, there's a Shona name there, there's a Ndebele name there,
That's another
you know.
thing. There's a lot of Zimbabweans who are doing, you know what I mean, like involved in the film and TV industry here. I would say for now, until we can get more TV stations in Zimbabwe, let's attack Mnet. Let's still do content and push it into South Africa so that it can be seen across Africa through, you know what I mean, through Mnet, MultiChoice, and whatever. For now, until we can also have a few more channels in Zimbabwe, which is the ultimate intention, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate the time and you being part of Earground. It's quite encouraging that you have taken your effort to actually put, you know, a lot of insight into the whole perspective on showbiz and entertainment. And yeah, with that, I just want to say thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you very much. Peace out, Zay.
Peace
Thank you for
out.
having me on there. All right.
Cool, man. So yeah, that was T Mula, and we're talking there about not just his music, but we're talking about showbiz and the functions and how it's functioning in South Africa. And he's pretty much involved in the thick of things, how things are happening in South Africa. Let me see. He has requested for another ad. I think maybe I've forgotten something. Yeah, so we spoke at length about so many things, and I think and I hope that the artists and the art scene in Zimbabwe has managed to take a leaf or two and benefit from what he has said. And from time to time, we're going to be sharing with you some information from different people that are located across the globe, including those that are at home. We'll also be making an effort to speak to some videographers as well. I'm hoping to get Vusa Blakes, to get Andy Carter, to get Simdog, to get Simba G, some of the videographers behind productions in Zimbabwe, also to speak from their perspective in terms of the achievements that we are making, but also reflect on some of the things that the creative industry needs to learn and master for our art to go up. The whole intention is to see the art and music industry in Zimbabwe grow. And my name is Plot Marco, and I just want to say thank you so much for being part of the Earground. The conversations continue, and we're going to be having a lot more of these exciting conversations and dropping new information on showbiz entertainment in Zimbabwe as things happen. And yes, so I'm out.
Put your lighters up in the air. Put your lighters up in the air. Call on Jah in this time. Call on Jah in this time of prayer. Exabia, you're the Mexican was done from Gutafara, representative for the East to the Ground radio station. Blessed Lord.